Forecast from meteorologist Amber Wheeler.
We're ramping up those rain chances here over the next few days as tropical moisture surges in from the Gulf. And you can see here, rain chances pretty high for the first part of the week. They're going to try to drop a little bit towards the end of the week, but they're not down to zero. Take a look at the Viper right now. It's pretty quiet. Earlier today, we saw some widely scattered showers and thunderstorms. We did get some brief heavy downpours. The numbers, they weren't as high as maybe you would think here based off of what the radar looked like earlier today. About 1.5 inches in Goodby, that was from Ricky on the North Shore there, 1.25 inches from Joseph in Cutoff, just under 1 inch in River Ridge from Jack, and just under 0.7 of an inch in Folsom on the North Shore there from Greg. Vern and Covington seeing about 0.3 of an inch. We always are grateful for those weather watchers. Really good to get that ground truth from you. And I do anticipate hearing from a lot of weather watchers here in the coming days as we're going to continue surging moisture in from the south and really keeping those rain chances going Monday, Tuesday, and even into Wednesday. Now, in terms of development here, the National Hurricane Center really focusing in on this area here, this lowering of this pressure as we're seeing this kind of cluster of storms. This is going to get pushed out into the Gulf there, move over the warm water, and possibly develop into our first named storm of the season here. You'll notice here that it's going to try to get going. It doesn't have a lot of space to work with. We've got a lot of wind shear to our north. It'll bring some rain up towards the north towards us, some heavy downpours at times, but notice some of the heaviest of rain wants to go into western Louisiana and into Texas. That low, if it does develop, is pushing into the west here. Regardless of whether it becomes a named storm or not, it is pushing into Mexico and taking a lot of heavy rain with it. Here's our flood threat from those rain showers and thunderstorms on Monday. Notice that we're under level 2 out of 4. Doesn't mean this entire area is going to flood. It just means that all the ingredients are coming into play to see some street flooding. On Tuesday, the flood threat does lessen a little bit, but it heightens for our friends in southwest Louisiana. That's where I think we're going to see some pretty decent numbers here over the next few days. Now, here's what the radar could look like for you. Notice that this is going to be on again, off again. And something else that's good here is that we've got movement with these storms. So while we have a lot of moisture to work with and some really tropical heavy downpours, the fact that these are moving, that could help mitigate that flood threat. As we head into your late Monday, still keeping the chances for showers and thunderstorms, and even into Tuesday, pulling in moisture from the south. A few impulses moving through could give us some storms continuing. But check out southwest Louisiana. I'm watching a big plume of moisture that wants to move into there. So I'm looking at the flood potential pretty high on Tuesday there. But here's how much rain we could see. The model's really picking up on these swaths of 2 to 4 inches, and some areas localized higher. And this is why we have our flood threat from Monday and into Tuesday. Something else you should know is that the winds are going to increase here this week as well. And you've got this low pressure trying to form in the Gulf, and you also have high pressure to the north here. These two systems competing with each other are giving a tighter pressure gradient, and we call them gradient winds. It's winds outside of a thunderstorm. So we're going to see some stronger winds, and because they're easterly winds, is going to help pile water up on the coastlines here. So a lot of our eastern facing shorelines are going to be under a coastal flood advisory from Tuesday until Wednesday. The Weather Service thinking about adding parts of Pontchartrain to that as well. But right now, just the Gulf coastlines is what we're looking at for that flood advisory. So again, watching this motion of all this moisture move to the north, and the area that could develop has about a 50% chance of development in the next 48 hours. Another wave of tropical moisture has about a 30% chance of development within the next several days here as it does push towards Florida and into southeast Georgia. Now, in terms of our wind shear, there's a lot of wind shear in the northern Gulf, but the area trying to develop down towards the Bay of Campeche has a tiny area of kind of window, if you will, with no wind shear, low wind shear. That's what we're looking at to see that development as it does push off towards the west. So we're pretty protected by this wind shear, but we're still getting that heavy rain. Then you got the really warm water. So you've got less wind shear down towards the south, really warm water, and that's just a recipe to see it strengthen. So that moisture pushes off towards the west, and there's that little wave here trying to move inland. We'll watch that as it does move inland. I don't think it's going to cause too much of a threat to us, but as this trough digs down towards the southeast, heading into the next weekend, I'm watching for the possibility of more tropical moisture heading our way. So this is kind of a rainy pattern here for the next couple of weeks. 80s right now at this hour. Dew point's pretty high. We know that they were going to be high, and they're going to stay high into tomorrow. Here's your forecast. Lots of 80s and lots of chances for some rain. In fact, this week, lots of 80s. Not a really hot forecast when you got the rain and storms. Summer officially starts on Thursday, calendar summer that is. And out on the water, keep in mind that we are looking at some pretty strong winds for all the mariners. Stick with us. Sports is next.